Hi, today we are going to make a simple Christmas tree. Start with a piece of wire to give you your stem, put a loop on the top, double it over to the end. This is about 7 inches high, but any height will do depending on the wire that you have. You could also use a pipe cleaner. When you've done that, you're going to then cover this with some green florist tape. This is going to help your twisting of the wool to stick to the wire as you go. So you just need to twist this all the way up. Florist tape is really useful. This is what it looks like. Get it from any florist or any DIY shop or gardening shop. It's used to cover stems for flowers. Great for needle felting because you can basically cover any kind of wire that you're using, whether it's paper covered like mine is. Mine is white paper covered anyway, but I'm covering it in the green. It just helps basically to get the wire to adhere to the wool when you're first doing it. And if you get really tight wire wrapping in your felting, then you're going to find that this helps a lot. And you just near the end, just take that off. I'm going to leave the loop open and you're going to see why in just a moment. Okay. Now I'm going to do this with green wool, but you could do this with core wool and then cover with green over the top. I just happen to have a piece handy, so I'm going to do it directly from the green wool. I'm going to push that through the loop and use that to firm and tighten that up as I go through. And then I'm just going to felt that slightly. I'll just put that through there so you can see. Just going to felt that in on the edge just so it holds. That's just on the centre, so I've got that holding. And then I'm going to continue wire wrapping all the way around, getting my top of my tree. You can always close up the wire to a point, squeezing it, and then continue wrapping all the way round to the bottom. I'm going to leave a certain amount free at the bottom because what we are going to want to do is we are going to want to have this tree sitting either in a piece of wood or on any kind of base. And I'm going to glue the bottom of this into a base when I've finished. Don't worry if it's uneven as you do it, because you can level up as you go back. Right, so I'm going to leave that much for my base, which is about 2 inches, and about 5 or 6 inches on my Christmas tree. And then I'm going to continue wrapping my wool as tight as I can. That's why it's always better to do like a carded sliver, which this is. I get these from World of Wool. It means wrapping wool is a lot easier than using a big bat of carded wool. A sliver will just make life a little bit easier. I'm not going to go all the way to the top because I obviously want the top to be graduated. My piece to be there. I carry on doing this. Every now and again you can stop and just kind of anchor down against the wire just to hold it tightly in place as you're going through. And you're going to keep going on to stop the video here and go to the end when I've finished. Now I've finished wrapping my tree and it doesn't look very even at the moment, but I'm going to work on the shape. Basically I've got it all wrapped up, and then what I've done is just pushed in from the bottom in order to make sure that the bottom of the stem is tight. And then what I'm going to do now is shape that by stabbing along and getting myself a nice tall conical tree. You can get a much fatter, wider tree. You can make it this wide if you want to. Depends how much wool you've got. And as I said, you could do this with core wool, just ordinary core wool, and then cover it over with green. I just happen to have enough green to get started that I had some leftovers. So I'm going to start to shape this now. I'm just going to turn my pad over because I had a lot of red work on my pad, and you've got to be careful because whatever pad you've got, this is a homemade pad, which is a Hessian fabric stuffed with old wool cuttings. You just want to make sure that you're not leaving sort of residue of different colours which will pick up on your next project. So here I've got a nice cleaner size, and I'm going to now just move the screen just so that you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. And now I'm going to continue to shape this until I get into a reasonable shape. Now I'm using an individual needle, and I'm just going to switch over to my 3 needle tool, which is really great for fast needle felting. Now do be careful, because you do have wire inside here, so you don't want to go too deeply in and close. If you've done this tight enough, you won't need to felt it ridiculously for hours and hours and hours, and you can felt through on the top layers. Do remember, lots of people tell you you can do hard felting, you know, and getting it so that you can sculpt things. But if you're only going to use something for a simple Christmas decoration, you only want it to be out for a couple of weeks every year, it can be reasonably softly felted, and it will still hold together. And each year you can just bring it out and give it a tidy up. Right, so just getting my bottom part tighter and a little bit more in shape. And rather than have you watch me now for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to just flick the video off for a second. So here's my Christmas tree. After further sort of felting and shaping, I realised that it was actually too narrow at the bottom, so I added another few twirls of wool to there to give myself a slightly more conical sort of shape rather than a cypress tree. I wanted it to be a proper sort of Christmas tree shape. So now once you've got your shape where you want it to be, it's the idea to decorate it. And you can decorate it in lots of different types. What I'm going to do here is just to do various little blobs as if it's sort of lights, etc. over the Christmas tree. So I've got some yellow, red, green, blue, various bits and pieces of wool. And I'm just going to take that together with an individual needle. I've got a triangle 38 here, red. And I'm just going to dot those. As you can see, I've just made a little round ball with my fingers, and I'm just going to needle felt that into the tree. What you can do then is just to continue to do that all over, just to give a general sort of dotty pattern, which looks like tree lights and decorations. You can just tidy that up slightly as you go. And then you get loads and loads of decorations like that. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to put some red next. I'll put that a little bit further round. All you need is bits of scraps, leftover projects for this. As I said, you could have used core wool in the centre and then green covering it. It's not to say that a Christmas tree has to be green. Bit like gnomes nowadays are all different colours. Christmas gnomes, they're not just red and grey as in the old days. You get autumn coloured ones, pastel coloured ones, so you could have a Christmas tree in any colour. Just use up what wool you've got. You know what it is. There we go. And I've got two bits like this. So I'm going to carry on like this, and I'll show you how the result is going shortly. So here we are. I've finished my various little lights put onto my Christmas tree. As you can see, it's got its spoke there. What I'm going to do now is make a little star. I've got a tiny little star cookie cutter, and I filled that with orange felted wool, and I'm just going to finish tapping that away just so that you can see here. Tap it down. Be careful, it can get stuck to your pad, so do turn it over upside down and continue to tap until you end up with a reasonably good sort of star shape. Then you can just go around the edge and make sure that you're basically tapping into the inner point of each star just to give it its final shape. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's only a little ornament. You should have your 5-pointed little star shortly. Takes a little bit of time because you want to get it as even as you can. And again, turn it over so that it doesn't get stuck to your actual pad. If you're finding it still a little bit fuzzy, not as smooth as you'd like, because it's quite a small item to be working on, you can just give it a little trim, and you can trim off any excess fluffy bits, form up points, and you end up with a little star like this, just to go on the top of your Christmas tree. And just pick one of the joining points, and then the easiest way really is to push the green wool into, it's hard for you to see here, push the green wool into the end of one of the joins between the two stars. Just quickly do that to just secure it. If you find it isn't very secure, put a couple of little stitches just in the top, which you can hide inside the wool. I'm just going to quietly pick this on the back of the tree. It's difficult to hold because it's moving around. It's on a very, very narrow part of the tree at the top, so I've just got to jiggle so you can get it on there, and then I've ended up with my little star on the top of my tree. And then I made a base. I've got one of these little tiny clay pots you can get from a modelling shop, filled it with green and brown wool to make it look like ground. And then what I've done is I've taken my yawl and I made a decent hole in the middle of that, and all that is there is like a lump of wool in there in the centre, nice big yawl in the middle, tap down that, and then I can pop my stem. Just need to make it a little bit more round, get a bit more space, get my stem down there. There we go. You can usually put a little bit of glue on the end of your stem as well to secure it, and then you'll get your actual Christmas tree. And you can have whatever shapes and sizes of these that you like to do. If you want to do a bigger one, you could have a much bigger pot. But this is kind of cute. He's a nice Christmas tree. And have a nice little picture of him in a moment, which I'll put up at the end of the video. And it's something that you can do one afternoon relatively quickly and have a finished result. Great little present, great middle table decoration. Roll on Christmas. It's coming, it's coming. Thank you. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to do more and more videos after a break of a couple of years, and I'll be putting lots of Christmas ones on, and after Christmas some Valentine options, and then also some Mother's Day presents. So there'll always be something that you can make, keep a nice winter afternoon busy. So have a look and see what you can do, and subscribe to my channel. Please like and give me any of your comments or queries or questions down below. Thank you. Bye.